It's recently been announced that another new Star Trek series is in development, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It's a spin off of Star Trek Discovery featuring Captain Pike, played by Anson Mount, Number One, played by Rebecca Romaine, and Mr. Spock, played by Ethan Peck. This series will obviously take place on board the Starship Enterprise, and it's set in the years prior to Pike handing over command of the ship to Captain Kirk in the original series. So it's yet another prequel. This time, however, there does appear to have been some fan appetite for it. I say some because it has to be said, Anson Mount's Captain Pike was one of the few components that actually worked quite well in the second season of Discovery. He felt like an actual Star Trek character. He delivered his lines and portrayed the role in a way that was very Star Trek indeed, and his version of Pike is very likable, and he's a really good actor. I was less sold on Ethan Peck's Spock, although he did start to grow on me. I think Rebecca Romaine's performance as Number One was solid as well. The design of the Discovery Enterprise has also been praised by many fans. I think the updated bridge that we saw in the season finale is reminiscent of the original, while still being a substantial visual design improvement. But let's be honest, if the same people behind Discovery and Picard are also behind Strange New Worlds, then really, what's the point? The show is expected to be returning to the more optimistic view of Star Trek rather than the current eye-gougingly depressing Trek we've been getting lately, and the series will be composed mostly of standalone episodes rather than the serialized seasons that Secret Hideout have produced with Discovery and Picard. And I think that will be a welcome change because it's a return to Star Trek's roots. The issue ultimately all comes back to the quality of the writing. Discovery was an abysmal show, and Picard, for me, was a painful vandalization of the franchise that I'd rather forget about. These shows have little to do with the ethos and values of Roddenberry's original vision of the franchise, though Star Trek Strange New Worlds might very well be a series that attempts to restore the hopeful, optimistic vision of the franchise and deliver something that at least looks and sounds more like Star Trek, but I have no faith in the people who will produce it. As Midnight's Edge has pointed out, one has to wonder if this series will even see the light of day, given that the Section 31 series, featuring Michelle Yeoh as Philippa Georgiou, seems to be stuck in limbo for a long time now. And to be honest, I don't think there's a great appetite for a Section 31 show. It's easy to announce the green lighting of a series. It's an entirely different matter to successfully secure funding. So long as the current writers and producers are in charge of the franchise, a franchise that has recently alienated many of its core fans, then I would have little hope for Star Trek's future. I think we need a clean slate. The appalling excuse for Star Trek that we've been getting since 2009 has to be declassified as non-canon in order for the show to, I suppose, restore fan faith and belief in it. So I would break it down to something like this: 3 categories: canon, Prime, and Kelvin. Canon is all Star Trek productions from 1966 to 2005. So that's the original series, the animated series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, and the first 10 feature films: Star Trek the Motion Picture, The Wrath of Khan, The Search for Spock, The Voyage Home, The Final Frontier, The Undiscovered Country, Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis. Prime is Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, Section 31, and Strange New Worlds, assuming those last 2 actually get made. Kelvin is obviously the Kelvin film franchise: Star Trek 2009, Into Darkness, and beyond. If the franchise ever does finally find itself back under the stewardship of talented sci-fi writers and producers who know Star Trek intimately and have a genuine passion for it and understand the tone and philosophy of the series, then they should continue to produce new shows and films under the canon category and simply ignore the Prime and Kelvin categories as they are separate Star Trek universes. Now, of course, Prime and Kelvin are connected to each other through the events of the 2009 film and the Countdown comic book, but they don't have to be in any way connected to canon Star Trek. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to make a brief video giving you my thoughts on the announcement of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.